Hello and welcome to Intermittent Fasting for the Win. I'm your host, Mike Saunders, and I'm thrilled to be here with you. My co-host is Jalene Wygan, an experienced faster and fitness coach. We'll be interviewing fellow fasters from all walks of life, shining a light on their progress, their struggles, and their victories. We'll get their tips, tricks, and plenty more to help make you a winner with intermittent fasting.
Hello. Today on the podcast, I'm going to interview Mike. As we learn how he used IF to regain his health and lose weight in the process. It will be a fun interview, but I promise to ask some probing questions. Oh, and yes, by the way, Mike has no idea what questions I will be asking. So this can get funny as I put him on the spot. Stay tuned, and here we go. Hi, Mike. How are you today?
Hey, Jalene, I'm doing great.
Good to see you, as always, my friend.
Thank you.
I have some questions for you. Are you ready?
I don't know if I'm ready or not because this could be dangerous, but go ahead.
I'll be gentle, I promise.
Okay.
Okay. So tell us, how did you find IF?
Well, that's interesting. In November of 2023, I got to the point in my life where I knew that I was going to have knee replacement surgery. It was bone on bone, and it had been like that for years. And so I went to an orthopedic surgeon that was highly recommended, and he told me, said, yes, I can do this. You're a good candidate for it as long as you get your BMI down to this percentage here. I forget what it was, but he set a goal weight. He said, you need to be at 331 pounds. I said, okay. So he said, just go ahead and lose weight, come back. And we set an appointment for January. And he said, come back in January, we'll weigh in and see how you're going. Well, the holidays just ruined me, I guess you could say. And I didn't
That's a
battle
challenge
plan.
for all of us.
I didn't have a battle plan. And by the time the appointment came, I was a miserable failure and actually had gained a few more pounds, and I was up to 365 pounds.
Okay. How
And
tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
Okay. So you're a big guy.
Yeah, I'm a big guy. Matter of fact, my bone structure's so big that after he got through with the surgery, he said, if your bones had been any bigger, I would have had to have custom ordered your knee because he said you're getting up there in the football player, the linebacker size guys. And
Wow. So it's true that some people are definitely big boned. I thought it was just something that we used when we were overweight.
no,
I'm just
it's true. And,
the true thing.
I could go back to the conversation with my doctor about that. But at any rate, I was, I had gained weight. And so he was gracious. And I'm sure that he's dealt with this hundreds of times before. And he said, look, he said, just go and try and lose the weight. And he said, when you get down to 331, he said, call us. And we won't set up another appointment until then. And so I left out that day feeling like a miserable failure. I really did. My self-esteem was at an all-time low. And I had a friend on Facebook, Courtney Ewing, sweetheart. Known her for years on Facebook, never met her in person, known her husband, he's a welder, and I dabbled in welding. And we had a lot of things in common, but I noticed that she was losing weight. And so I sent her a message and asked her about it, and she introduced me to intermittent fasting. It was Courtney that did that. And I ordered the book, Fast, Feast, Repeat, and read it in 2 days.
Yeah.
and joined Amy's group. What if intermittent fasting? I can't remember all the whole name of her group. It's a long one, but I joined Amy's group and I
Amy
started.
Jo. Amy Jo.
Yeah. And
I love her.
then I joined Wendy's group,
I
and
love
then
her too.
I joined your group. And
Oh,
between all of this, things just started coming together. And so on February the 1st of 2024, I launched into intermittent fasting. And like Jen says, I ripped off the Band-Aid. And by the end of April, I had shot past that 331 pounds. And I was down to like 324 when I weighed in.
such a great feeling.
Yes, it was a wonderful feeling walking in there and he asked me, the doctor asked me at that meeting, he said, "Well, how did you lose the weight?" And I said, "Well, I did it with intermittent fasting." He said, "I've heard of that, but I've not researched it. So uh, let me do some research into that." He said, "You're not starving yourself, are you?" I said, "No, sir." I said, "I feel great. I feel better than I've felt in years." And so then I had the surgery, and after the surgery, I continued to lose and lost about another 10 pounds. And all total, I have lost, now I hover right around an 85-pound loss.
So amazing. So amazing. Do you have a why statement? I know in Jen's book, she talks about a lot of us come to IF for the weight loss, but it's not sustainable if you don't have a goal that's more than just weight loss. So I know for me in the beginning, it was just weight loss, but then my whys have changed so much over the 4 years that I've been an IFer. So can you share with us what your why statement is now and has it changed since you first started?
Here's my statement in a nutshell.
Okay.
Miss Vicky and I, we got married on my 50th birthday. And it was about a week or two after we got married and were back from the honeymoon, she announced to me that I had to live to be 100 years old so that we could be married for 50 years and have a 50th anniversary. So, Jalene, that is my goal, is to live to be 100 years old. And intermittent fasting is an extremely important part of that because intermittent fasting has changed my blood pressure, my inflammation. So many things have changed in my life uh, since I started it and began it and maintained it. That I firmly believe that I might reach 100.
You will. I know you will. And that's such a great goal to be here with your forever girl. I love
Yes,
that.
yes, she's a sweetie, and
Can
I'm
you tell? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
not only that. She's a sneaky little thing. And she started after she saw what intermittent fasting was doing for me. She started doing it and didn't even tell me. I had to notice one day. I said, "You don't eat breakfast anymore, do you?" She said, "No." And I said, "And you're not putting sugar in your coffee?" "No."
Women can be sneaky.
Yeah, she started intermittent fasting and didn't tell her husband. So now me and her are partners in it, and that's just so great.
I love that. That's the best. It's so great to have a partner in IF. It really helps with motivation. Can you tell us, have your taste buds changed since you started fasting?
Oh my gosh, yes. There's one thing that I still struggle with, okay?
Mhm.
And that is something sweet. I've got a sweet tooth.
That
There's,
was one of my questions actually is what is your like secret indulgence? Because we all have them.
oh my goodness, it's anything sweet. Here lately, Vicky found a recipe, and here lately, I've been making my own ice cream out of two ingredients, out of heavy cream and condensed milk with no sugar added or anything like that. And that's my indulgence now is a little portion of ice cream, but I love the sweets, and that was my downfall all along. Anything sweet or anything starchy.
Yeah. I mean, that food is made for us to crave it and to get addicted, especially ultra processed food.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I totally get it. But it sounds like you found a really good swap for ice cream. You're making your own. So you know exactly what you're putting in your body. And I bet it tastes even better. I don't
Oh,
know about you, but for me, like the food that I used to eat before IF, like if I go to Starbucks and get a Frappuccino, disgusting. It tastes like poison.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, I had been drinking black coffee anyway for years, and there's a long story behind that, but I had been doing it for years, so that was not a problem. I didn't crave those sweets, but I was also a get up in the middle of the night because I was having the sugar. My sugar was never stable. My
Right.
glucose was never stable, and it would crash in the middle of the night. I'd get up and eat a half a box of Cheez-Its,
Yeah.
and then
A
go
lot of
right
people
back to
struggle
sleep.
with that.
Yeah, I was so insulin resistant, it was a crying shame. And all of that's leveled out now. And who would think, and I blame Wendy for this one, the uh, the eggs and cabbage. I would
It's
have
so
never
good.
thought about sauteed cabbage and vegetables with eggs for a breakfast meal, but now I do on a regular basis. You know, yesterday, what I broke my fast with yesterday? Two boiled.
Um, I'm thinking probably sauerkraut.
Yeah, there was some sauerkraut in there. I had basically two boiled eggs and a salad with some oil and vinegar on it, and then a little dose of sauerkraut. And
Wow.
I would have that wasn't the breakfast that I would have eaten two
Can you
years.
tell us what you used to eat before IF?
Oh my gosh, it had to have some kind of a starch with it. It had to have grits or and Vicky and I will still eat grits, but now
Yeah.
we'll eat grits for supper, and it'll be something like shrimp and grits. Or fish and grits.
Mm. Do you put butter on your grits?
Oh yeah, and,
Yum.
and no sugar. That's what Yankees do.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to go visit Alan's grandma who lives in she lived in Arizona, and she would make us grits for breakfast with eggs. And
Yeah.
I had never had grits in my whole life until I was probably in my late 20s.
Do
They're
you like
so
it?
good, so delicious.
Yes.
I
With
mean, anything with butter and salt to me is delicious.
butter and salt and black pepper.
Yeah, I don't have a sweet tooth. I have a salty. Like I crave salty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, salty,
Yeah.
cheesy,
Well,
crunchy.
that goes back to we're all different, ain't it?
It's true. It's definitely true. When did you know for sure this is going to be for your forever? Because I know a lot of people come to IF thinking they're just going to lose the weight and then they're going to go back to their normal lifestyle. When did you know?
I have two I knows. Okay. The first one was when I shot past that BMI and 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 had the surgery and
Yeah.
just felt so good. And by the way, my recovery from surgery, uh, I was I was 2 weeks ahead of schedule on everything that they were doing as far as PT and releasing me from the doctor's care and everything. The autophagy and everything else associated with with fasting was just putting me way ahead of schedule. So that was the first one. But then the second one is when I discovered that Vicky was doing intermittent fasting. And I said, if she's going to do this, I need to get on board with her and us run, the same schedule. so that we can be a team on this thing. And in the process of doing that, I opened my windows back up to what she was doing. And the thing is, even though I opened up my windows, I went from July all the way to uh, January of this year, just like I was in maintenance. I had no trouble at all maintaining the weight that I had lost for 7 months.
Yeah.
And that was when I said, I know this is for the rest of my life
Yeah.
because all I
I
have
mean, what diet have we ever done in the past where we can maintain for so long? Not I've never had a diet that I could maintain longer than like maybe 2 months.
no, it's none of them.
Yeah.
And I've done them all. I've done the South Beach diet, I've done the Atkins diet, and I lost weight on all of them, but it was not sustainable. This is the only thing that I've done that has been sustainable. I mean, even I have friends who've had bariatric surgery, okay, and they regain because it's it just does not, it's not sustainable. Fasting is the only thing out there that is sustainable.
Yeah. It's so funny that you say that because just this morning I got in a little debate with an influencer that I follow on Instagram. He's from Australia and he's like a weightlifter, and I really enjoy his content. And it wasn't an argument; it was just a little bit of a debate. And he was telling me how intermittent fasting isn't sustainable. That the only thing that's sustainable is counting calories. And I was like, I don't want to do that ever again. I have not counted anything
No, no, no.
since I started IF, and I never will again.
The only thing I count now is hours of the day.
Mm, yeah. I don't even do that anymore, but I did. Like I did the first couple of years, but I don't anymore. But this is not about me. It's about you. Sorry.
You know, you have rubbed off on me, and I tell people all this. I tell people this all the time. You know, I used to be obsessed with my weight and how
Yeah.
much I was losing and where was I at with the pounds and this, that, and the other. And I'm not anymore. If I do obsess about anything weight loss related, it's what size clothes do I fit into now?
Hmm.
And the other day, I was in a size 54 jeans and they were tight. I was fixing to have to go to 56 or something. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. I do.
Now, the other day, Vicky bought a pair of 44s and she said, I said, really? She said, yeah, try them on. I think you can do it. And I put them on and they were a little bit snug, but you know what? I can wear 44s now
That is amazing.
from 54 to 44.
What a great feeling.
Yes.
So, so happy for you. What has been your biggest hurdle?
Honestly, uh, dealing with people who cannot understand it. That's the biggest thing. Uh,
Yeah. That was my next question.
yeah, I mean, it's incredible the people that think that you have to continually be putting something in your mouth, and so let's
Yeah.
just change it to keto or whatever because uh, you, listen, it's not what you eat, it's when you eat.
Yeah. And we're all different. We're all
Yes.
so different. Our bodies react differently to different foods. So, have you found through IF what foods work better for your body? And was there any surprises for you?
No real surprises. I've been surprised about some of the choices of food that I
Mhm.
gravitate towards, like the eggs and cabbage. I've been surprised by that. But
Right.
as far as what do I eat now, I eat, let's call it a lower, Lower, lower carb.
Mhm.
I try not to eat as many carbs as I formerly did, but it's not like I'm on an Atkins diet or a keto diet or anything like that.
Right.
It's just a lower carb diet, and it
Right.
works. It works pretty good. A lot of vegetables.
Yeah.
Uh, we love fresh vegetables, broccoli and cauliflower, and just all of the different things that we like. And I like I like red meat. I like white meat. I like we love fish, salmon, salmon fillets. I go to Aldi and get those salmon fillets for that wild caught salmon, and we'll cook them hibachi style out on the grill, and just it's just wonderful, you know.
Your food always looks amazing.
My food is always amazing.
Good. It should be. And that's the thing about fasting is you need to enjoy your food. It's fast, feast, and repeat. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of people don't realize that. And I see people struggling all the time in our groups that think it's fast and then eat this little tiny low calorie diet meal and
Mhm.
then fast again. And that's not going to get them to their goals. That's so hard. But I understand it. That I understand the diet brain.
I've got a go-to thing now, uh, that if if I want just a little something in my mouth in between uh, times when I like peanuts.
Me
I'll just
too.
have a handful of peanuts and munch on them, and oh, it's so wonderful. You know, just a handful of peanuts. And
I really enjoyed your interview with Martin when he talked about he opens his window with pistachios. And I'm going to have to do that.
I'm going to have to try that myself because Vicky and I both like pistachios.
Hmm.
They're good, and like
Yeah,
you said, if you have to crack them open, it takes you longer.
exactly. That's the exact truth. Like if I get him out of the shell, I could eat a whole handful. But when
Yeah,
you have to crack them, you enjoy them.
yeah.
You and it takes longer.
Well, now you're from out there. You're from out there in California,
Hmm.
and you may not know about this delicacy, but here in the South we have a delicacy, and I never will forget. We had some company come in from Missouri, I think it was, yeah, Upper Missouri, and they traveled down here and stayed with us for a week or so. And he said we were driving in, and he said I kept seeing these signs that said boiled peanuts. He said, "What is a boiled peanut?" And I said, "You've never had a boiled peanut?" And he said, "No." I said, "Get in the car." And we loaded up in the car, and I took him to my favorite boiled peanut stand and bought him. And he said, "Can I cook these at home?" I said, "Yes, you can."
I actually have tried them. My best friend since kindergarten moved to Arkansas when we were in our 20s. And I went to visit her once, and we went on a road trip from Arkansas to Missouri, and we had boiled peanuts, and they're so good.
Yeah, I have to be careful with them because once I start eating them, I'm going to eat the whole container.
Something happened to your microphone. I couldn't hear you.
I said,
Oh,
once I have to be careful with boiled peanuts because once I get started on them, it's like, oh my God, I'm going to eat the whole package, you know?
they're so good.
Yeah.
So delicious. So it looks like we're almost out of time. Um,
We got about 5 more minutes. Go ahead.
okay. I'm a preschool teacher, and parents a lot of times tell me when their kids come home, the parents will ask them, "What did you do at school today?" And the kids usually say nothing or played. They don't give them a whole lot of information. So what I tell parents that they should do to get the conversation going at night before your children go to bed, do this little game with them, and it's called High, Low, Buffalo. And so I'm going to ask you to do high, low, buffalo. So a high with intermittent fasting, something, that makes you feel really good or something great that's happened to you. A low is, I mean, that's obvious what a low is. But buffalo is something like out of the norm, something funny, something crazy. So can you share with us a high, low, and a buffalo?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
a high would be my my energy levels
Hmm.
while I'm fasting. I go to the gym and work out with guys who think that you have to load up with a big breakfast before you go to the gym. And I go to the gym in the middle of a fast and they say, I don't see how you do it. And I tell them, I don't see how you do what you're doing.
I
Once you,
know. I know what
once
you're
you,
saying. Do you wear any like a heart monitor or anything when you're at the gym?
no, but I have taken my blood pressure.
Yeah.
My I have two of them. I got one that goes around the arm. I got another one that goes around the wrist. And I've taken the wrist one in before and checked my blood pressure and my heart rate while I'm working out. And I'm just like, hey, this is good stuff here, you know.
Right? That's exactly what I noticed. I just joined a gym a few months ago. Now I'm actually working there as a coach, but
Yeah.
I wear a heart rate monitor and I can see the difference between working out fasted and working out fed. When I'm working out after eating, I am sluggish.
Yeah.
I only get to about 60% of where I should be, and my heart rate doesn't get up into the anaerobic when I'm fed. But when I'm fasted, woo, it gets up high. I mean, in a good way. And my workout is so much longer and I feel so much better.
Well, that's like me. I'll come home from the gym and I have just, I mean, really worked out hard. And I will come home from the gym and head outside and start working in the garden and this, that, and the other. And I want to get that all done while I'm fasting
Hmm.
because when I go ahead and break my fast, then that's TV time.
So true. It's so true. That is the perfect high.
Yeah.
Can you
Okay.
tell us a low?
My love. Oh my goodness.
It's hard because there's not a lot of, for at least not for me, there's not a lot of lows with
There's
fasting.
there's not. There's not. I guess a low would be if I was fasting and I was wanting to really, really stick with my schedule and somebody was eating something that I wanted to eat. That was that
Yeah.
would be, I guess that could be considered a low.
How do you get through something like that? Give us a little tip.
Either walk away from it
Hmm.
or drink a big glass of water.
Hmm.
Or now I do Sheila Borey's trick. I put in a pinch of salt in my water.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
But we're about to run out of time here.
Okay, can you give us a buffalo?
A buffalo, something out of left field.
Yep,
A
yep.
buffalo would be, I never dreamed that my face would be the first thing to show. It's crazy. My face was the first thing to show. And and people see me and they say, "What's different about you?" And they're looking at my face.
Uh-huh.
And I say, "Well, let me tell you, you know." So
Yeah.
that's I mean, that's I guess that could be my buffalo. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Like that's something out of left field, something that surprised you.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, it's been so great interviewing you, my friend. I've really enjoyed this.
I can't think of anybody I'd rather have interview me. I've been on Graham's podcast.
Aw,
I've been on Graham's podcast and he was nice. I love him to death, but whew, you're a good one. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
We need to get a just strictly
I'm
lean
so
only.
glad we met.
Have a great afternoon.
I'm
Bye.
you too. Talk to you later, friend. Bye.
If you need more information on fasting and want to join a group of people who embrace this lifestyle, let us recommend that you go to Facebook and search for Intermittent Fasting for the Win, and also search for Clean Fasting Jalene. Either of these groups will help you along the way. We also recommend that you read Jen Stevens' books, Delay, Don't Deny, and Fast, Feast, Repeat. Both of these books will give you valuable information to help you in your intermittent fasting journey.